If you've ever tried to run your own apps on your own hardware, you know the dream, right? But you probably also know the deployment nightmare that can come with it. Today, we're going to dive into a totally fresh take on self-hosting, one that promises to just strip away all that complexity and reimagine the whole thing from the ground up. I mean, this question really hits home for a lot of us, doesn't it? You spend all this time and energy building an amazing application. It works perfectly on your laptop. And then you hit the deployment wall. It feels like it should be the easy part, the final step, but instead it just explodes into this mountain of complexity. And that's really the heart of the problem we're talking about. That journey from your finished code to a live, scalable, and secure app that people can actually use, well, that's often the hardest part of the entire process. It's where all the real headaches start. So let's frame this up. On one hand, you've got the old way, wrestling with these super complex orchestrators like Kubernetes, which have a massive learning curve. It's just endless configuration files, and you're constantly managing control planes. But on the other side, there's a new promise. Super simple commands, workflows you're already used to, running on your own hardware, and, get this, no central management overhead. This is the big, game-changing idea right here. What if that tool you already know and love for development, Docker Compose, could just be used directly for production? I mean, imagine not having to translate your perfectly good setup into some completely different, super complicated format. That's the core promise we're digging into. And here's the payoff. We're talking about serious, enterprise-level features right out of the box. Think about a small team that needs to scale up fast, but doesn't have a dedicated DevOps person. With this kind of approach, they get zero downtime deployments, automatic HTTPS, super easy scaling across different machines, and they get it all without ever having to touch Kubernetes. Okay, let's see what this actually looks like. The commands are so simple, and they'll feel really familiar if you've ever used Docker. You start a server with UC machine init, you deploy your app with UC run, and boom, you get automatic HTTPS, just like that. And when you need more horsepower, UC scale my app 2, and now you're running 2 instances across your whole cluster. It's just that direct. So, you're probably asking, how is all this simplicity even possible without giving up all the power? Well, the secret sauce is in the architecture. It's simple on the surface, but incredibly powerful underneath, and it's all thanks to a completely decentralized approach. It really all boils down to these 3 key pillars. First, it automatically creates a secure private network that connects all of your machines. Second, the architecture is totally decentralized, and that's a super important point we'll get to in a sec. And third, everything is managed through one smart, unified command line interface. So here's that crucial piece, the decentralized cluster. You gotta forget the old model where you have one master server bossing all the other ones around. Why? Because that's a single point of failure. In this world, every single machine has a synchronized copy of the system's state. If one machine goes offline, the rest of the cluster doesn't even blink. There is no central brain to fail, and more importantly, no central brain for you to have to manage and maintain. And the backbone for this secure, interconnected network isn't some brand new experimental tech. It's built on WireGuard, which is known for being incredibly fast, modern, and seriously secure. This is what creates the secure tunnels that let all your machines and containers talk to each other like they're sitting right next to each other on the same local network. All right, so we've talked about the how. Now let's get to the why. What does all this actually mean for you? Well, the big payoff is getting a cloud-like experience, but it's one that you are in complete control of. And that unlocks a whole new level of flexibility and, frankly, a much, much better workflow for developers. This phrase just nails it. You get all the ease of use and the slick features you'd expect from a big cloud platform, but you're not locked into their ecosystem, you're not stuck with their pricing, and you're not bound by their limitations. You're in the driver's seat. And that control gives you this incredible freedom. You can literally mix and match hardware from anywhere. Run your main app on a cloud VM, use a powerful bare metal server in your office for some heavy lifting, and hey, that old Mac Mini in the corner? Yeah, you can turn that into a staging server. They all just become part of one single seamless cluster. Just think about all the daily tasks this makes easier. Getting HTTPS certificates, it's handled for you automatically. Load balancing between your apps, it's built right in. Your services can find each other just by name, automatically. And because of that decentralized design, your apps are naturally resilient. It just takes so much of that operational weight off your shoulders. And for the developers out there, this is just huge. You get to stick with the tools you already know.
The exact same Docker Compose file you use on your laptop is what you use in production. There's no new YAML syntax to memorize, the commands feel totally intuitive. This whole focus on the developer experience means less friction and way more time actually building cool stuff.
This slide drives home one of the most powerful points with a single, beautiful number: 0. That's how many vendors you're locked into. Zilch. You have total freedom to pick your cloud provider, use your own hardware, or change your mind at any time without having to go through a painful rewrite of your whole setup. As we wrap up here, it's pretty clear this is more than just another piece of software. It really represents a different philosophy about how infrastructure should work, that it can be powerful and simple, that it can be open and secure, and that ultimately, control should belong to the people who are actually building the software. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world that seems to get more complex every day, where our tools and orchestrators just get more and more complicated, maybe the most revolutionary step forward is to actually make things radically simpler. Could this be what the future of our infrastructure looks like? It's definitely something we're thinking about.